We all face death eventually, it's universal. But have you ever stopped to think, what actually makes for a good death?
It's a complex question, right? Today, we're doing a deep dive into that, specifically looking at how Chinese nursing students see it. We've got this great mixed method study to guide us.
Yeah, mixed method meaning it's got the numbers, quantitative surveys, but also the stories, the richer detail from in-depth interviews. Gives us a really full picture. So big picture first. What did the study find overall? Well, these nursing students generally had a moderate perception of a good death. Moderate. What does that mean in numbers? Their average score was about 3.76 out of 5 on the good death inventory. That's the Chinese version, adapted culturally. So not strongly positive, not negative. In the middle, interesting starting point. Definitely. So if it's moderate overall, what specific things did they prioritize? What really stood out for them? Okay, let's unpack that. The number one thing, maybe a bit surprising, was being respected as an individual. That was top of the list. Also high up, dying in a favorite place, usually home, good relationships with family, preparation for death, and having good relationships with medical staff.
And that being respected piece, it's quite nuanced, isn't it?
Yeah.
The research suggests it wasn't just about, internal dignity. It was very much about how others treated them. You can see the connection there to traditional Chinese culture, the emphasis on honor, on face.
Okay, that makes sense. Like external validation.
Sort of, yeah. And dying at home. That links to values of intimacy, family connection, maybe seeing death as a natural process, and family relationships themselves. Well, in a more collectivistic society, that's absolutely central.
Hugely important. Okay, so that's the top. But sometimes the things ranked lowest tell us just as much, maybe more.
Definitely.
So what fell to the bottom for these students? Well, the last 5 were religious and spiritual comfort, independence, unawareness of death, pride and beauty, and not being a burden to others.
Some of those are really striking, especially compared to maybe Western perspectives. Take physical and psychological comfort. It wasn't bottom 5, but still only ranked 9th.
Only 9th. You'd think comfort would be higher.
You might. The researchers speculated maybe because the students are young, maybe less direct clinical experience with severe suffering yet. It's a possibility. And the ones not being a burden and independence being so low, that seems counterintuitive to some cultures, right?
Absolutely. Independence is often seen as crucial.
But here, you likely see the influence of Confucian filial piety. Caring for elders isn't just nice, it's a duty. And being cared for isn't necessarily seen as being a burden. It's almost expected or right. Dependency is viewed differently.
A very different cultural frame. What about unawareness of death? They ranked that low too.
Yes, they actually preferred knowing. They wanted time to prepare, to say goodbye. The study even mentioned them talk about it like choosing the lesser of the two evils. Knowing might be hard, but it's better than being caught unaware.
Wow. Preparation over blissful ignorance. That leads into another key finding, doesn't it? Something about communication.
Exactly. A really strong theme from the interviews was the importance of open communication about death.
Which is interesting given the traditional cultural tendency to perhaps avoid the topic more.
Precisely. The students saw this open talk as vital. Vital for self-recognition, for allowing the person dying to actually define and express what their good death looks like. It enables that personalization.
So it's about agency, even within that cultural context. Did the study find any differences, say, between different student groups?
It did touch on that. Senior students and also female students tended to have slightly more positive perceptions overall.
Any thoughts on why?
Well, maybe more professional knowledge for the senior students, more exposure. For female students, perhaps linked to, personal development or gender roles in caregiving, but the study didn't delve too deep there.
Got it. And between mainland and Macao students?
Yeah, that was interesting too. Mainland students scored a bit higher overall in positive perception. But crucially, the structure of their perceptions that they ranked high versus low was very similar between the two groups.
Suggesting a strong shared cultural background driving things.
Exactly. It points to that common Chinese cultural context being really fundamental.
Oh,
and religion, or lack of it, didn't seem to make a big difference in their overall views.
yeah.
Even non-religious students could see its value for others.
So culture seems to be the really dominant factor here.
It really appears that way in this study, yes.
This has been fascinating. It really highlights how something so universal like death gets shaped so profoundly by our specific culture, our experiences, our stage of life. A good death isn't just one thing, is it? It's deeply personal and culturally embedded. So thinking about all this, it makes you reflect, doesn't it? How might your own background, your culture, your life experiences be shaping your idea of a good death? And maybe just as importantly, how crucial is it to actually talk about that vision with the people who matter?